So this is a 2-day rafting course with Andy from Backcountry Scot. I've never done this before, quite looking forward to it.
We need to get across. This is our journey continuing.
I've done canoeing in the past, but not done the combo of, well, not quite bike packing, but bike raft packing and all the logistics of that. Anyway, so I hope you'll join me on this little adventure, well, 2-day adventure, and see how everybody gets on. Having built the bikes, we travel up to the north side of Aviemore to meet Andy at his shop.
Hi. Okay, let's...
After Andy has unpacked the shop, we get an introduction to the rafts.
So she had an idea around patterns and cutting and sewing. So they made a boat in the basement. And fast forward 20 years, Alpaca moved from Alaska down to Mancos, Colorado, and they're now developing some of the most, advanced boats on the planet. So this boat's called Caribou. Caribou is their bike rafting boat. When we blow it up, you'll see later that there's more volume at the front. And that just means it handles the weight a little bit better. This little rubber flap up.
Yeah.
And that lets the air out. So when I turn it anti-clockwise, the flap is allowed to be pushed by the air pressure inside, and it seals it. It's not the main seal. The main seal is this rubber seal on there. I'm going to then roll it like a sleeping mat. So this will be the overall length of my cylinder. Tidy. Turn it clockwise, that allows the air to come out. I don't have to treat it with kid gloves, it's a tough bit of boat, but I am looking at am I on sharp flint? Am I lying on a broken bottom? But I'm always mindful that it's a single chamber, so it's not multiple chambers, so, if one bursts, one's okay. It's a single chamber, lightweight, replaceable boat. So I just need to keep that in the back of the head the whole time. There's 2 little prongs on the blue bit, and they're actually quite sharp. So I'm just going to protect the boat. So that's what we're going to be carrying by idea of the weight.
I love this one.
Goes on your bars, it's got some rubber spacers to help manage cables and hoses and things. Either goes around your fork crown or your head tube. Handlebars in here. This strap goes over, that goes through there, and then it's just a buckle, just a ladder lock buckle. So through.
You said this handlebar goes in that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right, okay.
And then that cinches down.
Okay.
I will include the shaft of my paddle in there.
Yeah. Okay.
In the past, have included these, but you can see that they're just an odd shape. And generally on rough terrain, they rattle out.
After that introduction to the rafts and how to pack them, we then get the job of putting our bikes together.
We steal the space
for
whatever goes on your bar.
Yeah.
Maybe, because you might choose to put the boat on your back.
Like this.
Throughout a journey, you might put the boat on the bars, and then if you need to do a bit of hike bike, you change the boat onto your back.
Right.
So you need to have that ability to move kit around. If we forget them, it's about 500 breaths. Blow the boat up. What we should be looking to do is to minimise the weight on our back.
Yeah.
Because the weight on our back over the period of the day will push through into our sit bone, give us a sore bum, sore lower back. Wash it into there. I want to make us as light as possible. The bike is the workhorse. Relatively stress-free day. Any questions, I really encourage you to just ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
It looks like you're not carrying much.
Oh, that question. I looked at you and I'm like, He hasn't got a life raft.
No, I do have a PFD. It's in my bag. The only thing that's in my bag is a bit of food and my buoyancy aid.
And
Because the rest of my life.
oh yeah, because you've got a middle pack thing.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have somebody's like, you know, tripod and stuff, I'd have a completely empty back thing, so I could put all my stuff in there as well. And Ilya and I both have a pump. We need one pump. Heavy. Excited or nervous? Down to the bridge in, right?
Yeah, down to the bridge in, and we'll cruise up the logging way, just warming our legs up, basically head to Loch Morlich. Once we're at Loch Morlich, we will transform. I like the idea that we transformers.
Transformers, I know, I love this. It's missions and transforming. It's just like, you know.
Safe. Paddle across Loch Morlich. We'll look at things to consider when we're getting on the water, when we're getting off the water, when we're crossing big pieces of open water. Do we use extra kit? Do we tie ourselves to anything? Do we tie, you know, there's lots of things to talk about with regards to a little bit of open water. And then we'll have a really fun pedal after transforming back down to Loch Elan. And then a short paddle across, transform again, pedal home. So the main mission today is to transform a number of times so we get really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And we get to try a few different things.
And so we're off up the logging way to be transformers. Oh, sorry, bike pack rafters.
Whoa. Certainly is.
At Loch Morlich, we assess the access and the conditions.
We need to get across. This is our journey continuing. Maybe if we've got a bit of a breeze. What would we call this? A breeze? A stiff breeze? What would you?
Something that would deflect you going across the water.
This would definitely. We're going to go downwind a little. So do we put in here and let the wind take us across, knowing that we're going to get out downwind?
Yeah.
You know, or if the wind's coming the other way, we go down. You know, so we're not just having this fixed mindset of
Right, of where we're going to get in and
we've
out.
looked at a map, and this is where we're going to get in, and this is where we're going to get out.
So you need to know you've got a couple of access points then, just in case.
So we take a little bit of single track to the next car park along.
First strap I'm going to put on is around the fork here. And as soon as that strap's on, it stabilises the rest of the bike. So the reason we've taken that pedal off the other side is because I wouldn't want my pedal with its spikes on to be in contact with my boat. So I'm now going to do this strap next, just to be mindful that I don't want to put any pressure on the spokes.
Did you go under you? No.
This helps keep it all in place. Being mindful that I don't want to press my front brake with my wheel out. I'm going to place this on here, and I can just, what could I do? So it's different each time. I can go there, I can use the strap on my harness, look. Keep that in place. More straps in here. Once everything's attached, I can check that it's attached safely by picking up. Look, the boat's not going to move.
It's a bit of balance, but does that not matter in the water then?
No. When we're in there, there's 180 kilos of buoyancy in the boat. My bike's what, 12 kilos, 90 kilos. Nowhere near that sort of threshold. It's crazy stable. So that's not going to matter. What is going to matter is when I come to paddle, this is in the way a little bit. I can adjust my paddle stroke. Tomorrow, when we go on to some moving water, we'll probably take this off as well, just to make the bike a bit smaller so I can dynamically paddle when I need to.
After Andy explained how to mount the bikes to the rafts, we go about our own transformations.
for your smoke spitballing.
Being such a hot day, we now prepare for the raft tempering process. This is necessary because as the raft sits in the water, the cold water will make the air in the raft contract.
Whoa!
These boats aren't efficient. They do 4 kilometers an hour, tops. No point in trying to muscle them to go forward. The bike's kind of in the way. So, our paddle, I'm looking for my elbows to be at about 90 degrees. And that shows me where my hands should be. So I can adjust those rubber bits. And I know now, if my hands are by the rubber bits, that's where my hands should be. If I go just now in that direction, and I want you to think about, where does the power come from? Right near the axle then. You just balance it out nicely. And we'll go all the way up to make some space.
All right. Oh my God, we made it.
I'll go to the left over here. What do you do if you see a spaceman?
What?
Park in it, man. Not the easiest of conditions. A little bit of that crosswind. It's never ideal. But we got here. I was chatting with folks, and there's definitely, like, you put less power in on one side to kind of manage the wind from the side. What's your main takeaway from that, with how easy it is to paddle? Or the fact it's not? Because the bike's in the way.
Yeah, the bike's in the way.
Do you agree? Yeah. So that affects our mission planning, because if we have to properly paddle, dynamically, aggressively paddle, we're going to find it really hard because the bike's in the way. So we can't commit ourselves in either weather conditions or water conditions, whether it be a river, open, sea. So we have to, like, take everything down a notch or two because we've got a bike on. So you can see the square motorhome.
Oh yeah.
The furthest left white, that's where we put in. So the wind has made us drift down a good few hundred meters. And it actually did get to sort of force 3.
Even though those waves don't look much, you really started to go like that, and then you had to, like, turn the boat.
Because it's accentuated by the boat being top heavy with the bike on. The great thing with the fat bike wheels is they act like pontoons, so that they wouldn't sink. Because your bike would probably float if you would throw it in.
Yeah, that's why I brought it.
Brilliant.
Unlike him, who bought his one that he was prepared to sacrifice the most.
Okay. So the real challenge is, can we, now we are a little bit more tired, a little bit more hungry, a little bit damp, can we reverse the process and prepare ourselves ready to ride again?
Having transformed successfully for the second time, we now mount the bank to the double track to reverse to locking in it. We found out very quickly this was quite hard going as we were paddling into the wind.
This is so ridiculous. Do you feel ridiculous? Or you just think it's... Well, actually, the moment. I have no control. That's the problem. Right. Okay. Right. I'm just incapable of rowing. I'm off. I'm not so keen on the boating bit, I have to say. And my arms are killing me.
Finally across Loch Inin, we find shore. Final transformation for the day, then we head back to Aviemore. So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this part 2 series, this bike packing rafting experience. I now really do appreciate having done a course and picking up the tips from Andy on how to navigate a river safely, and certainly gives you a difference and much more confidence on how you should get your information, pack your raft and travel safely down the river. And of course you don't need any special bikes. You saw in there we had 3 different types of bikes ranging from fat bike to my bike with a roll-off hub which is 10 years old. So there you go. If you want to see part 2 in this series, then I'll leave a video link in the description below. As always, keep safe, keep well, and I'll catch up with you guys next time.